But I had to sit on the floor for doing a movie review for this one. So it's called Creep, and it's a movie from 2014, and I thought I'd review it on my channel because I like watching movies for fun and to research about them, like older films and stuff, like from the 1950s and earlier, stuff like that interests me. So I thought, sorry, I just ran off the stairs. So I thought, why don't I do a review of a more recent film called Creep, and it was made in 2014. And what I found interesting about this movie, first off, I'm gonna have spoilers in this film. I'm gonna have spoilers in this video. So if you don't want the spoilers, then don't watch anymore. Okay, that's your warning. Okay, so here we go. Okay. What I found interesting about it after I watched the movie, I researched it, and according to InternetMovieDatabase.com, it stars our Patrick Brice and Mark Duplass. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. He has a very uncommon last name like I do. It's okay, Mark Duplass. I understand how that feels. Anyways, I thought it was interesting that it's directed by Patrick Brice, who also stars in the film too. So I always find that very interesting when an actor stars and directs a film. I find it very interesting, and I have a lot of respect for them, because it must be really hard work to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a horror thriller. It's rated R, so not for the faint of heart. And I actually watched it with one of my at the time, this guy and I weren't dating, but I watched it with the guy who is now my boyfriend. And so that was interesting watching it at his house, and he and I both kept looking at each other like, when is the action gonna start? Because the whole plot. First, let me explain the plot of the story the storyline of the movie is basically there's this guy, and he puts like an ad out there. I don't know if it's like a Craigslist or something, but he puts an ad out that says that he's like dying and he wants someone to video record his last memories like living. And I forget if he said he had cancer or something, or some form of cancer, and he was dying, or what he was dying from. I forget what he told one of the main characters of the story. And anyway, so the guy number 2 answers the ad for guy number 1, and guy number 2 goes to the guy's house, which I thought was already kind of like suspicious, because like this is a complete stranger, you know. But then they meet, and nothing seems out of the ordinary, and I will say it's kind of twisted. Like, it's more of a psychological thriller, I have to say, but it had me several parts. I was like, okay, this has got to be bad, but then nothing happened. But I liked how he built the suspense. The storyline of the movie was really good. How I didn't like the movie, I will say that. I didn't like it, but I do have respect for the director of the film for making it very unique in how it was shot. The camera angles, and how it was just a couple of main characters, because I don't think there's been a lot of movies like that where there's only a couple of main characters for a scary movie. I can't really name many scary movies that are like that, so I will give them credit for that. I think it's really awesome that they did that. It's like a new kind of like an innovative kind of thing that they did, and it's kind of told from the one guy's perspective during the film. So, but then you also get it from the other guy's perspective, and then during the film I kept thinking, like, which one's the bad guy again? Because the bad guy's really good at hiding that he's bad in this film. So I really liked that about the film too. That the guy, I kept looking between guy number 1 and guy number 2, and I was like, okay, which guy is actually the bad guy in this movie? Because it's not very clear in the beginning, but, or in the middle, even in that case. But, and then at one part I was like, wait, is there gonna be a guy number 3 that's gonna like come on the scene and then scare guy number 1 and guy number 2? Because that would be kind of what's that word I'm looking for? Predictable. But that didn't happen in this film. Something else happened, so I found that very interesting. And I really loved how the director built the suspense in this film. I don't think I've watched, but I will say it's kind of a slow beginning, like, just to warn you. I got really bored early on very fast because the suspense and the storyline wasn't going hard enough and the characters weren't getting too involved. And there were some parts that made you question one of the characters. The guy who wrote the ad, guy number 1, like there's one part where he decides to just run away from guy number 2 who's filming, and they're in the middle of the woods, and I'm like, why would he just like randomly decide to do that? That's kind of weird. But then you kind of learn about guy number 2's psyche, like, during the rest of the film, and how kind of, like, twisted he is, like, in his brain, you know what I'm saying? And it was just really wild for me, like, to watch. And the ending, I was like, oh my gosh. The ending really scared me. I jumped, I was like, ah, and, like, I, like, almost screamed. And that was, like, the scariest part of the movie was the ending, I will say that. And it was just really, I was glad I watched it because I can appreciate someone who, like, tries filming from a new angle. And I thought that was really cool that they tried to do that in this film. They made the film from, like, a different kind of, like, perspective, a different kind of way that's not usually done before. And I have really a lot of respect for them for doing that. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the movie, I have to say, like, I really liked their style of the film that they did. It really was one of a kind of movie. And the ending was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say what actually happens, but it's not for the faint of heart. So if you don't, like, I mean, because there's a twist, like there is in usually scary movies, there is a twist that I don't know if you'll, because, like, it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat where you're like, okay, it keeps you questioning, like, who is the bad guy? Is it guy number 1 or guy number 2? And you don't really find out until the very end, which I really liked. I didn't really like, but I liked how the suspense was really built, but I feel like it might have been too long, because it did feel like a long movie when I was watching it, no offense, but, like, it felt like a long movie. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would not recommend this movie, but if you like different types of movies and you love the art of filmmaking, and I think if you love that aspect of films and different aspects of films and how movies are made and stuff like that, I think you'll enjoy watching this film, like, as a more, like, artistic kind of way, like, where you, like, you know what I mean? But, like, other than that, for watching it for enjoyment, I don't recommend it at all. So if you want a feel-good movie, this is not gonna be it. So find another movie, like, you know, the one about, no, not Marley and Me, but, like, Big Fat Greek Wedding, maybe, or what's another really feel-good movie? I guess Bruce Almighty was an okay movie, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't exactly, like, that much of a feel-good kind of movie, but there are some parts that were, like, kind of heartwarming. They were, like, aw, kind of thing. Anyways. So yeah, that's for today's video. Sorry I haven't filmed for a while. I've been kind of stuck in a rut a little bit. So I'm gonna start doing movie reviews too on this channel. I'm still, like, in the baby steps of this channel, so I'm still kind of trying to decide what I want to do with this YouTube channel. So I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like doing. In the words of Cardi B, I feel what I do, or I do what I feel, kind of. I think that's how the song goes. I didn't butcher that song. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have an awesome day.